Hi, welcome back to the Oversubscribed Challenge podcast. Over the last 13 episodes, we've broken down what it takes to build and oversubscribe the brand. Right? We've talked about positioning, we've talked about creating irresistible offers, we've talked about building funnels that actually convert, we've talked about generating demand, we've talked about building the old system that helps your brand become oversubscribed. And during those 13 episodes, we had our 90 days daily challenge, right? But starting today, we are doing something different. That's starting from this episode 14. So what we are doing is that we are taking everything that we have learned and we are applying it to one specific industry. And I hinted on that industry in the last episode. So we'll be beginning with the skincare industry. Of course, over the course of time, we would be going from one industry to another industry. But for now, we are focusing on the skincare industry. So why do I want to focus on the skincare industry? Well, not just because skincare is trendy. All right. Number one, for the fact that I have a skincare brand who is my client that I am actually working with right now. And we have run our first campaign. All right. It's an ongoing campaign. Right now, we've spent around 200K or just a little bit less than 200K. And we have generated over 6 million naira, as you see in the image here. We've generated over 6 million naira in revenue, spending just 200K in ads. How did we do this? And that is what I want to actually begin to discuss in the following episodes. And I'm sure that via this episode, any other skincare brand out there would be able to massively scale their brand, scale their business also. That is my dream, all right, for this specific industry. And another reason is because skincare brand is one of the most misunderstood and wrongly executed markets right now. And if you understand how to scale a skincare brand, you understand how to build demand in almost any business. So let me get started with today's episode. First and foremost, let me start with this. Many skincare brands don't fail, or they don't get to scale very well, not because of bad products. Many of them have very good products that they are actually selling. The reason why they are not scaling as much as they should be scaling is because they have bad growth systems. All right, their growth strategy is not yet systemized, and that is what I want to help you guys with. If you guys can probably watching this episode, all right, I've watched different ads of skincare brands, more than 10 campaigns of different skincare brands. What they're going to see is that they launch a product, they post on Instagram, they run few ads, they work with influencers. I see that almost every time when I see their ad on Instagram, and they do that and expect to scale. It is good to do all of this, but scaling a skincare brand is beyond just this, all right? And the reality is that while you are doing this, of course, you could make sales, but there's a tendency for them to hit a plateau, all right, and then sales start slowing down. The ad will stop working, especially if the system is not yet built, all right, to scale. And funny, the brand doesn't know why this is happening. And it's happening because they are focusing mainly on the tactical side of marketing. They're not being strategic. And that is what I want to show you in the following episode, beginning with this episode 14. So the next question is, what makes skincare different? All right. The skincare brand is not like most businesses, all right? And it's not just about selling products. It's about trust. People would patronize the skincare brand because they trust the brand. Just think about it. You are asking someone to take your product and just apply something to their skin, to their face, all right, their identity. And that is a high trust decision for anyone who would eventually decide to buy the product from your brand. So which means if your marketing doesn't build trust, it would most likely not convert in the long term. And this is the reason why you see a lot of brands posting, all right, they do product photos, all right, they run campaign with influencers using their products, they run ads, come and buy these products with influencers. Those are kind of ads I see every single time. But the reality is that not every one of them gets to scale, all right, because they're just trying to sell without first building belief in the products and in the brand itself. As a skincare brand owner, your first point of call is to ensure you build strong belief in your brand and in the products. Not doing this is one of the big mistakes that many skincare brand owners they commit. That's not just the only mistake. There are many other mistakes that you see skincare brand founders that they commit. One of them is that they rely too much on influencers. Almost every ad I see on Instagram, when I check Instagram and I see skincare ads, They're all about ads, showing an influencer using your products and then talking about the product, how the product is great, how the product has done this and done that. That's good, right? Especially for the fact that influencers would give your brand attention. But if the skincare brand don't build a system, the problem there is that once that particular campaign ends, then the sales will be also drop because the system is not built to sustain the repeat sales of the products. Another mistake I see, all right, and this is very profound. I've been wanting to talk about this since I have been working with this my client and because of that, I see many skincare ads. Is that these skincare campaigns? It's all about the products instead of the solution. Yeah, some of them are talking about the solution, but not in the way I would expect this campaign to actually talk about the solution. All right, nobody wakes up wanting a serum. People want clear skin. They want confidence. As a skincare brand owner, you are not in the skincare products business. Instead, you are in the confidence building or esteem building business. Because why would someone want to apply your product on their face? Because they want to build their confidence. They want to have a beautiful skin. They want to correct hyperpigmentation. They want to correct all this stuff, all right, that's happening on their skin. They want their skin to appear very beautiful, and that would enhance their esteem, their image of themselves, their confidence. So that is what you are selling. That's confidence. That's building up of their esteem, their image, all right, the perception of others about them. That is the business you are in. That means when you are running your campaign, that is the emotion you want to sell. That is what will get your brand to actually build your own market. All right. There's a market of women, mostly women, who wants to buy skincare products, but you have to build your own market. You have to build your own community. If your brand will focus on that messaging that tackles the deepest, darkest, most needed desire of your target audience, then you're going to call them out and build a community of people who actually see that you get them. You get their feelings. You get their insecurities. It is that feeling that you have communicated, that they have perceived that you understood what they actually want, that will get them to trust your brand and want to recommend your brand to others also. Yeah, that is a mistake I see in different campaigns that I see when I go on social media. Another mistake is that many brands run ads without a proper funnel. All right, they can run the ad to the homepage of their websites. I see this very common. All right, sending traffic directly to your product page, this is very common, or to your homepage. It's one of the fastest ways to waste money. You don't do that. You don't just send the products directly to your homepage. No. All right. You don't want to waste your money, especially on platforms like Meta. You want to build a proper sales funnel to sell your products. You may wonder, but my method is working. Yeah, it is working. But do you think that you could have made more money if you had done it the right way? If the way you're doing it now, you are making 2x. Do you think you could have made 5x or 10x if you had done it the right way? Think about that. And lastly, another mistake I'll be talking about is for the skincare brands not understanding the growth stage they are in presently. Every skincare brand go through stages of growth, and each stage of growth requires a different strategy. So let me quickly simplify these stages of growth. All right, there are 5 stages of a skincare brand that you would most likely go through as a skincare brand founder, as a skincare brand owner. Number 1 is the launch stage. All right, so at this stage, you are testing the products, you are getting initial traction, you are seeing whether this product actually works, actually produce the results. All right, that stage number 1 is the testing stage. Stage number 2 is the validation stage. This is the stage where you are getting some sales, maybe from friends, from organic content, from influencers, and of course, this your product is also working. They're recommending you also to other people to actually buy from you. All right, that's stage number 2. Stage number 3, you could plateau. All right, and that's where most brands get stuck. Yeah, they've been running ads from stage number 2, but the ads could become inconsistent and the growth could slow down. That's stage number 3. If they don't do something to actually make this consistent, the brand will plateau. So stage number 4 is systemization, to ensuring you build a system that gets your sales to become consistent. Yeah, you build funnels, you build great offers, irresistible offers. This is where you build a repeatable acquisition system to ensure you consistently sell and you never plateau. All right, and stage number 5 is the stage where you scale. At this stage, you increase your ad spend, you grow predictably. You are not just making sales consistently. Now you are accelerating your sales generation. All right, so that is stage number 5. Now the real problem is that most brands, they tend to want to go to stage number 5 without doing stage number 4, without building the systems first. And that is where the problem lies with many skincare brands. So if that is the problem, what is the solution? The solution is simple. All right, stop thinking in terms of just tactics. Let me run ads, let me use influencers, let me show my products and all of this. Those tactics are good, all right, but if you want to scale, if you want to ensure that your brand lasts long, you want to start thinking in terms of systems. So, for example, instead of thinking what ads should I run, right? That's the tactics, right? Leave that for the tacticians. You want to ask, all right, that what system can I build to turn attention into revenue, so that the system is there consistently turning the attention your brand is getting to revenue. All right, that is what many top brands, many oversubscribed brands in the skincare industry, that is what they understand. They don't just rely on one tactic. All right, they combine, they build education, all right, they build trust with their audience, they craft irresistible offers, they build funnels, all right, and they build retention so that people who have bought before, there is a way to get them to keep buying over and over. And that, my friend, is how they scale their skincare brand. I hope you got that, you clocked that, you understood what I've just explained. Now, this direction will be going over the next few episodes, right? I'm going to be breaking down in different episodes how to build demand for your skincare brand. I'm going to be breaking down how to structure your skincare offers. I'm going to be breaking down how to create funnels that convert. Of course, this will be possible because I intend to actually work with a few skincare brands to help them scale. All right, so as I'm working with them, helping them scale, I'll also be teaching these lessons. All right, so I'm going to talk about how to scale profitably as a skincare brand. And of course, if you want to be a skincare brand to work with me to help you scale, you want to quickly build a course session right now with my team so that we can work together and help your brand actually scale, just like I did with this skincare brand owner. And of course, you must understand that the goal is not just to get attention. That is not what I'm trying to do with you here. All right, the goal is to build a brand that actually becomes oversubscribed. So again, if you are watching this episode right now and you are building a skincare brand, or you are interested in how skincare brands actually scale, this series is going to be very powerful for you. And if you want to go deeper, I'm also working on something called the Skincare 3x Revenue Growth System. That is where I break down the exact strategies brands can use to scale. And of course, you'll hear more about that soon. Most likely by next week, I'll break down in that webinar all you need to do to actually scale your skincare brand. But for now, I'll focus on this. Your growth is not actually just a traffic problem. Instead, it is a system problem. And once you fix the system, everything else will change. Do you get that? I hope you understood that very well. I'll see you in the next episode.